All right, let's talk Seattle Seahawks. Look, obviously the Seahawks have found their next head coach in the form of Mike Macdonald, but now we're seeing the Seattle Seahawks fill out the rest of their coaching staff. And this is critical for the Seattle Seahawks to overcome the fact they haven't had a playoff win in a number of years now. And I think the Seahawks are preparing to make, I think, a really smart, dare I say, perfect hire. Let's go into this report and then we'll talk about it more in detail on the other side. This is from NBC Sports. The Seahawks have hired Mike Macdonald as their head coach, and they now have to fill out the rest of their coaching staff for the 2024 season. Lions pass game coordinator Tanner Engstrand is under consideration for a role on that staff. Albert Breer of SI.com, Breer's a great reporter, a lot of good insights there, reports the team has requested an interview with Engstrand for their offensive coordinator vacancy. Engstrand met with the Patriots before they hired Alex Van Pelt as their coordinator, and he's also on the list of candidates for the Buccaneers. He has worked with the Lions since 2020. All right, this would be an absolutely perfect hire for the Seattle Seahawks. And let me explain why. The Seahawks, I think, very smartly, when it came to replacing Pete Carroll, looked at their environment and they understood their assignment. They needed to get better against the Los Angeles Rams and against the San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks went 0-4 against those teams in 2023. The Seahawks missed the playoffs on tiebreakers. If they literally go 1-3, they're in their playoffs. If they go 2-2, they're obviously, we're looking at like a 6 seed, a completely different environment for the Seattle football team if they can perform better in their division. When Dan Quinn was brought up as a potential Seattle Seahawks head coaching candidate, I was worried for the Seahawks for a second because Dan Quinn notoriously gets absolutely, completely, and undeniably eviscerated by Shanahan and LaFleur, McVay, everyone from that kind of coaching tree of offenses, right? So that would, you basically be throwing Dan Quinn in that division with Sean McVay, with Kyle Shanahan, and they would continue to ravage the Seahawks football team because Dan Quinn has no answer to those offenses. I love getting Macdonald from the Baltimore Ravens. I think he's one of the smart young minds as a defensive coach going forward. Now the Seahawks have to take the next step. They have to come up with the offense to counteract the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. And who better to get the architect of their new offense is the guy who defeated the Los Angeles Rams by outscoring and outmoving the football against Sean McVay in the postseason, and the guy that absolutely dominated Shanahan's defense on the road in the NFC Championship game. If Dan Campbell doesn't go for it on fourth down twice, the Lions win that game. They get the guy in Engstrand from that Lions staff that figured out McVay's defense. Obviously, McVay's an offensive guy, but the Rams defense, and figured out the 49ers defense. And now it looks like they have a strong chance of adding him to the Seattle Seahawks. This would be a perfect hire. The Seahawks have talent. They've obviously won 10 games last season. They won 9 games in 2023. They are a good football team with key young players and key veteran players. They just need the right coaching to overcome intra-division issues. I think Macdonald's a great hire in that direction, and I think Engstrand would also be a phenomenal hire in that direction as well. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but first, Seahawks fans, what do you think of this Mike Macdonald hiring? Give us a letter grade in the comment section below. Do you love it? Do you give it an A+? Do you absolutely hate it? Do you give it an F? Do you think it's just kind of okay, wait and see? Whatever it is, give us your grade of the Macdonald head coaching hiring and put them in the comment section below. But Miles, give me your thoughts on this potential move by the Seattle Seahawks and just everything the Seahawks franchise is doing right now.
Yeah, Nick, when I look at the Seahawks, I think on paper, this is a team that has a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I think some of them particularly a little bit underutilized. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba was a little underutilized last year. He didn't get quite as many yards as I would like for him to. I think another really underutilized position is a guy like Noah Fant at the tight end position. He was truly supposed to be a great receiving addition at the tight end position, and when they trade with him with the Denver Broncos, I think that Fant, is very underutilized, and that is why I like a guy like Engstrand. When you look at what he's done with the Lions, he's able to utilize the tight end position very, very well in his pass game coordination abilities. You look at a guy like Sam Laporta, who came into this Lions offense. He was absolutely phenomenal. Another guy, TJ Hawkinson, he was very productive in this Lions offense as well. So I think this is a guy that can come over and make a difference. It's not more of the same. He can build on something the Seahawks have been weak at times. And I think being able to utilize the tight end more in the passing game will be very, very good. And I think just overall in general, you look at the Lions offense, there's not one part of that you wouldn't want as a Seahawks fan, because this offense, it was super dynamic. Great running game, very dynamic passing out of the backfield. You look at Gibbs, this is a really great Lions running game. You look at Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, you have two great running backs on the team for the Seahawks. I think they're a little bit underutilized. I think they could do a lot of work on this team. And we saw that a year ago, but it wasn't the same this year. I think the receivers, your receiving unit is very solid. You got Metcalf, Lockett, and Njigba. I think this is a really great unit, but I think is overall a little bit underutilized. You should be able to get these guys more involved as far as getting their yards up. Your highest receiver, 1,100 yards, and the next closest guy, 800 yards, almost 900 yards, and Lockett. I think that you look at the Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown has like 1,500 yards this season by his own right. So I think this is a guy that can really come in, upgrade this offense, open up the passing game, but also utilize a little bit more in the run game as well, taking off of some of the things the Lions did in their rushing attack. So I think this could be a very good utilization of an offensive coordinator spot to help, get some of the issues in the Seahawks offense and really help them upgrade their thing all around the ball.
And there's really one point that's really kind of been sticking with me involving the situation with the Lions and why I think the Seahawks could really benefit. Ben Johnson, the current Lions offensive coordinator, after the 2022 season, was viewed as one of the brightest offensive minds in football, was offered some head coaching candidates. He turned it down, which was really bizarre. Head coaching candidate, that's a dream position for anybody. In 2023, they have another great season offensively, the Lions do. He gets even more head coaching offers. He turns them down. That gave me pause. What kind of offensive coordinator turns down literally 6, 7, 8 jobs to be a head coach in the NFL? It makes me wonder if Ben Johnson knows something about his staff and knows something about the organization where the Lions are the best fit for him to be successful, even if it's only as an offense coordinator. And that makes me think about Engstrand, right? In 2022, the Lions offense exploded. Is it any coincidence that Engstrand was named the passing game coordinator in 2022 and remained in that position going forward? I'm not saying Engstrand is the whole genius architect behind the scenes of the Lions offense, but it's clear he's a guy that played a huge role in this Lions resurgence. And I think the Seattle Seahawks dipping into that talent pool in Detroit and pulling Engstrand and making him their offensive coordinator, I think that could be a huge get for Seattle. I like the rumors and the reports that the Seahawks are really strongly considering him. And if they pull it off, and I think they will, it'll be a perfect hire for the Seattle franchise.